It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, and I was down a decent amount today, a little over 3%, but now it's basically break even. It kind of swung up green a little bit, but now it's just kind of hovering around. So once again, the volatile chop just continuing. It feels like my account's been at 167 forever now. Like I want to say like 2 months. My second account stuck at 5K, basically the same level as when it started, and my IRA still hasn't broke 2K, so just feels like it hasn't really gone anywhere. But the past week I am down 1.15%. Past month I am down 3.5%. Of course, 3 months is 32% down. Year to date is 30% down, but it does look like we've been consolidating a lot here. So who knows? Maybe we'll at least have a bear market rally to once again get to 200K. But it is what it is. Past year, I am up 51% still, and of all time is 333. And when it comes to my portfolio, still the same option positions. My crypto, it does seem like hype is down a little bit more today, which is kind of interesting because you would think with all this tension, and we're going to get to some of the news later on when we switch over to my X, but you would have thought with all this tension that oil prices would be spiking even more. I think they are right now, and that in return would help benefit hype. But for some reason, it's selling off even more right now, and it possibly has to do with the fact that the U.S., America, is potentially letting Russia and Iran start to sell their oil because of the recent spikes and the fear of future spikes in oil prices just because of all this craziness going on. So, obviously, if all of that supply is just unloading all over, it's going to possibly push down prices. I don't know. Maybe that's why hype is going down, but it is what it is. Take a look at my top 10 positions. Pretty much a snoozer day today. Robinhood down almost 1%, but everything else pretty much just sideways. Palantir was up 1.64%. Lemonade was slightly green. But another thing that is somewhat interesting relating to oil and hype, RIPX, my small cap energy play, it was up a lot actually today for a boring company, right? Obviously, 2.5% is not a lot, but for a high yield dividend paying energy company, like 2.5% is a lot, right? And it almost hit $35 a share, at least on Robinhood. Maybe it did tag it, but then it just completely gave up all of its gains. So maybe there is a lot of truth to what I've been seeing on the news of the U.S. possibly, pulling back a little bit away from this conflict going on right now. And maybe we will get some relief in oil prices and gas prices. I know where I live, gas went up a whole dollar. I haven't checked today, but I know yesterday it was up a whole dollar of where it was before this conflict. So I want to say it's like two something, right? Kind of hovering around there. And now it's in the threes, maybe even in the high threes now where I live. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully we get some relief here. It doesn't seem like anything else is moving too much in the rest of my portfolio. Now, I know most of you guys don't really care about my whole Robin and merch situation, but they did actually send me an email today saying that unfortunately the medium size is sold out, and then the large size is also sold out. So they asked me if I wanted to, just take the extra large one. Like, no, I don't really want that. I don't think it fits me. So I was like, you know what? Just send me the small one. Even though I don't fit it, at least I'll have the shirt. So it's just a little bit disappointing. I thought that Robinhood was watching my videos. So they're like, you know what? This guy's been complaining. So we'll just go ahead ship his order right now. But, apparently they just want to troll me. But in all seriousness, it's a little bit disappointing. Like, that merch is not cheap. It's, if anybody's paying a lot of money for like Lemonade, Palantir, Robinhood merch, like at least give us what we pay for. Like we pay a high premium for like these exclusive like stock related t-shirts. So like at least give us what we pay for. In other news, so oil and LNG, liquid natural gas, apparently Iran just wiped out 17% of Qatar's LNG capacity for 5 years. And there's a bunch of other news here. This one's going viral. Has over 3 million views already. Says U.S. may unsanction Iranian oil to ease pressure from U.S.-Israeli war, roiling energy markets. I thought that was a little bit interesting because usually, you don't see the winning side make these sorts of concessions. And of course, more news relating to the situation. This damage to the Qatar LNG facility. The recovery could take 3 to 5 years. And the CEO of Qatar Gas saying they incurred a $20 billion loss at the facility that they built 2 years ago for $26 billion. So, even though they print money, these royal families that own basically everything, 20 billion is probably nothing, but still. We have Bloomberg Japan here reporting that European natural gas surging 35%, which is probably why the U.S. is talking to Russia right now to possibly relieve some of that. But who knows? At the end of the day, my oil stocks, whatever, my biggest one is obviously RPX. If that goes up to like $40 a share, I guess it's good for me. But if it goes back down to 30, it is what it is. I'll just keep collecting my dividend. Maybe I'll sell some covered calls here if it's only if it's lucrative enough. But it does seem like, both technically on the charts and also the news coming out, it seems like energy is going to have some sort of a long-term bull cycle. That sounds scary because that means possibly higher gas prices, but it is what it is. And I've also been seeing a lot of these types of posts popping up on my feed here. It's just random accounts on X. Like they don't have any followers. They just post the shoes that they got, the neon green ones that were somewhat going viral around the same time as the Robinhood merch drop. And I guess a lot of people are getting the Powerbeats Pro 2 Nike early. I'm not really sure how they got it, but Nike's been responding to a lot of their posts, boosting them. Which is really cool to see, but I don't know how he got these early. Like I want some early. And I know lately I haven't really been reading the comment sections of my recent videos, but I thought today might be an interesting day to do so. But first, I got to shout out my first two supporters of the channel. It was Tax the Poor and T Yeah. So my first two supporters of last month. And we got T Yeah here. Schooling us a little bit when it comes to crypto, so I appreciate the long comment here for anybody that's not familiar with crypto. But one thing that does kind of concerns me with crypto, I guess you could just say that I'm dumb or whatever, but I kind of like the fact that I don't have to remember a super long seed phrase when I go to a bank, you know what I mean? So I guess the future, instead of the future being completely decentralized and just completely crypto, I think it'll be a mix of both because, there are some advantages to a custodial wallet and just having banks and institutions do things for you. But at the same time, obviously there's utility in just having your own wallet that nobody else can touch, nobody can steal it from you. So there is, pros and cons to both sides, right? If you lose your seed phrase, you completely lose your wallet and everything that's in it. Maybe, I don't know anything about crypto, but I just think, there's pros and cons to both sides and it's good to diversify, I guess. But we have Ryan Chu here saying, holy, my portfolio is bleeding, need to burn the wound or with something to stop it. So I'm not really sure where your holdings are. And I know that stocks have been going down a lot and just chopping around, not really doing anything. My biggest position, Robinhood, it's gone down 50% and hasn't done anything for like a month. So I feel the pain with you, but you just got to remember that times like these are usually when people start to tap out. And then when people tap out, that's like when the market decides to go to all-time highs, because that's like the max pain scenario. You sell at the bottom and then it rips 100%, and then people buying at the top when it's already gone up 100%. But we have King Timmy here with a super long comment, and I don't know if I want to read the whole thing, but I'll try to get through as much as I can. Made another big decision today. I had 120 covered calls, up 73% on Hood, 515 expiration. Decided to roll those down to 100 strike. Okay, same expiration for an additional 2100 premium. It doesn't look good for Hood at all. You laughed and claimed when people start speaking like this, the bottom is usually close. Well, that ended up being a terrible take, as that was a month ago and hood is still at 73. Okay, well, that's my point exactly. It's still at 73, 75, the same price it's been at for a whole month or two, and almost breaking below prior lows, which is something that a lot of stocks do. It washes out those last minute buyers before going back up. But anyways, at this point, hood isn't my identity. It's a stock, and if it's not performing, then it's got to go. Nearly a full year, it has done absolutely nothing, and day by day, it looks to be getting worse. Also, I just want to say one thing that actually made your channel interesting was you reading the comments. A lot of creators don't do that, and you're the first I've seen, and it actually made me like to see your responses and stuff. But now you're doing this behind a paywall, and it kills the vibe. Oh well, I guess. Wish you the best holding hood forever. I'm sure they might do well, but honestly, I can't sit on this ticker another 6+ months of doing nothing. I'm way too okay. All right, well, I appreciate the super long comment, but on this whole like backlash of me doing the whole website thing, like it's whatever. Like the people that complain about it are usually the ones that were just watching my videos in the background anyway, like not really supporting the channel. So it is what it is. But you also had another comment that was somewhat long as a paragraph saying, also, the weird begging for super chats and donations every video is comical, bro. Why even waste your time? I take this out of the vids. It leaves them off on a bad and cringy note. Stop doing this. Show more energy in your videos and read the comments again. Your channel would improve, in my opinion. Okay, well, I guess I'll take advice from somebody that probably doesn't really have a channel. And from what I can tell, you only have 17 subscribers, so I guess I'll take your advice. And the whole show more energy in your videos, well, I mean, I can't help that. I'm the same no matter what stage of the cycle we're in. Like, it doesn't matter if my account is over 300K or, almost at 150K. Like, I'm just the same. Like, I don't let the market swing my emotions, if that makes any sense. But also, King Timmy, aren't you the one that was complaining and crying when hood started crashing initially? You were the one saying that you're sick of hood and you've been on margin too long, you're trying to get off margin. And you even admitted in a previous video that I was right when I said that hood could fall to 80 and you didn't believe me. And then here's this other video of when hood was, I don't know if hood was at all-time highs because it looks like my portfolio is only at 245K, but you were complaining that I don't say anything good about hood when hood was going up, and I was kind of warning you guys, hey, we might go to 80. Right, and you even admitted that you didn't believe me when I said we could go to 80. So it really does feel like that your emotions wildly swing with the market, King Timmy. I'm just saying, based on my observation from all of your previous comments all throughout my videos, it just seems like your comments are very highly tied to stock performances. So, if like how you said, if NBIS or whatever this company is doing good, seems like you're all gassed up, you're high and mighty, you come to my comments just talking crap. And, if hood is doing good, you're like, oh man, I should have listened to you or whatever. Or if hood is doing bad, you're like, I should have listened to you. So it is what it is, man. But hopefully you got what you were looking for, which was a response to your comments in one of my videos. But I did say before, when I first started making this website, I said, I'm going to respond to super chats, but also still respond to like super long comments. So, I did keep my word on that. When it comes to the super chats and my website, I'm still going to do whatever I want to do. If you have an issue with that, then it is what it is. I don't really care because, obviously it seems like your emotions swing with the market. So honestly, I don't really care about your opinion. But we also have another interesting comment here. This was 4 days ago, and I did respond to you, but I just saw it when I was scrolling through my comments again. So I guess I'll just re-respond to it. But Ryan Chu saying, what do you mean by hedging? Trimming speculative positions into safer growth stocks and hedging by trimming into cash positions to pay off things or just have dry powder for dip events. It's all pretty much the same thing. Trimming speculative positions, but the whole quote unquote safer growth stocks, don't get caught up in that trap. Just because a company is a big tech stock doesn't automatically mean it's quote unquote safer, right? If you back in 2021, started selling all of your crypto gains and super speculative IPO gains, and you put all of that into Meta, thinking that this is a safer growth stock, it's not going to go down. And then 2022 happens, Meta goes all the way to like $88 a share, and you lose all of your gains from your speculative trading. So don't get caught up in that trap that something is a safer growth stock, right? If you want to hedge or pay things off or just have some cash on the side, just sell, right? Just have the cash. Like, don't put the money into a safer growth stock and then treat the growth stock like it's cash. You know what I'm saying? And even though King Timmy thinks that my website is cringe, I'm still going to promote it because, honestly, I like it. I used Shopify for the first time. I was impressed by it. I made my first investment on my Robinhood account into Shopify. But yeah, I like, even though this is not the final form of my website, I don't know if there is a final form. I still have a lot more that I want to add to it and actually make it functional. But that is going to take a lot more money and a lot more followers in the future. So, as I get more and more subscribers, more and more of a following, eventually this website is going to turn into something like maybe a stock screener. I don't know, but I do have bigger plans for it. But as of right now, it is the only way that you guys can support the channel. I'm not monetized or sponsored. Up at the top is how you super chat. I'm still trying to hit my goal of $10 and buy me a coffee. I know King Timmy is not going to donate because he thinks the whole buy me a coffee thing is cringe, but it is what it is. And the link is in the description.